Wow. Okay.
Your mic still out?
No, I'm good
right.
with these anyway.
I was trying to turn you off.
Oh, thank you for that. All right. Well, let's talk about Venomverse real quick. I know Herb, you got my back on this. You got to read Venomverse?
Yeah.
Okay. And Johnny.
Yep, I read it.
All right. Anyone want to break down what Venomverse was?
So Venonverse was apparently take all the Marvel characters and put them all into one giant collection, give them a symbiote, or a symbiote derived from Venom, or venomize them, and then put them up against a bunch of anti-Venom enemies and see how they all just fight each other and how everything plays out.
All right. Spoken like a true DC Comics reader.
Like this.
He's got the general idea, but this is Marvel's follow-up to Spider-Verse, which came out last year and brought all the different Spider-Men from the different multiverse worlds together to fight one common enemy, which is a family of entities that are hunting them. In the same vein, this is a new a new breed of creature, a new species of creature that's hunting Venom symbiotes specifically, and not just
Through the multiverse.
Through the multiverse, correct. So the Venom Doctor Strange brings together different iterations of Venom, and where we join the story is when our own Earth 616 Eddie Brock Venom is brought into the mix. And we get the story from there as to how they're being hunted, as to the specific parameters that these creatures need before they can absorb a symbiote, and the role we play versus the role the Venoms are to play. And also, they're in dire straits. And I read this thinking, man, Spider-Verse was badass. But the only thing that Spider-Verse was damn good. The only thing that bugged me was that I hated the villains in that. I'm like, okay, Marvel's falling back on that trope of the grand enemy is either some overpowered, pompous space being or some overpowered, high class, ultra waspy, pompous, erudite, aristocratic villain. You know, like things like Damon, what's that Sebastian Shaw?
The Hellfire.
Yes, thank you. Like things like the Hellfire Club. You know, it's like everyone, it's 2018, but I'm wearing an ascot. You know, it's like. And I liked the concept that they got away from this. I'm like, okay, they're doing something different. They're learning from the mistakes, those few mistakes of Spider-Verse. Now they're also giving it to us with the more badass character of Venom. You know, and some of my favorite Elseworlds were the ones where the Venom symbiote took over other people. Like my personal favorite, which I have to this day, still shrink wrapped, and I've got the little Kubrick figure that came with it. The Venom symbiote, instead of going to Eddie Brock, went to the Punisher.
Yeah, that's a classic.
That is badass, dude. It's awesome. Yeah. Also, the only person to will the symbiote into submission was Frank Castle. I dug that. He was not in Venomverse. Why was he not in Venomverse? That would have been dope.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But Marvel's been doing a lot of stuff with the symbiotes lately, man. There's been
I could have sworn he was in Venomverse. It was like the first Venom character to die.
No, he didn't have the wait.
Yeah, he was the first one to die. He said like they all crashed. The Hulk.
Yeah,
the Hulk one came in.
Yeah.
And then he was like, everyone get out. Well, this is like, I don't know.
It's not on the first page or anything.
It's not on the first page, but it's like
Jack
5 pages
gets
in or
his
something.
ass handed to him. That's early on.
That was beautiful.
All right, no, okay, maybe he was. If he was, he's like the only one they didn't shout out, which is a shame because I like that Venom, and he looks different from the original design. Although I will say, if that was him, I like his design in this better. I like nobody else because everybody else is just kind of thrown in. And my main beef with this, and I do have beef with this book. I'll say it right now because it's an awesome concept that I think they failed to deliver on. And maybe that's because Spider-Verse was like 100 and something issues, and Venomverse was only 6.
You're bound to miss some stuff.
I think so, but they tried to cram what's obviously a larger story into a really short run, which can be done. Brian Bendis did this years ago with Elektra.
But you tend to get too much exposition and it's a little convoluted.
Well, it's not even exposition. They just like they have a plan, they enact a plan, then something goes wrong, and then they start from scratch. And then they have a plan, they enact a plan, something goes wrong, they start from scratch. That same formula in every single issue. And
5 issues.
5 issues?
Yep.
I read the trade. I thought it was 6, 5. My bad. My bad. In 5 issues. That's much worse.
Yeah.
Because then they
worse than I thought.
You just press fast forward on the subject.
It was pretty much that.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, but first of all, before I go off on my tirade, what did y'all think? Because I remember before we had a couple of words back and forth, me and Herb. But Johnny, you awfully silent over there, man.
Yeah, I do not read comics at all. And I was reading a different kind of comic this past weekend.
Porno comics, yeah, we know.
It was actually Tank Girl, so you're not far off.
You mean Cherry Pop as Tank Girl?
And I read this last night, and going from Tank Girl. Not to say that what was in Tank Girl was absolutely fantastic, but man, there was actually something to latch onto in Tank Girl. And this one, it was just here's a bunch of characters. Let's put them all together and make them butt heads with each other, and not have sort of an intricate, elaborate story or have any intelligent writing whatsoever.
I won't say
It's
unintelligent, but
it
you're right.
was-
One of the main failings is that it's just haphazardly slapped together.
It is, yes. It is
And
that,
it
and it
lacks-
was constantly reminding the reader as if it's their first time reading anything Marvel, reminding them of, like, here's this character and here's their backstory. It would do it very quickly,
Well,
but
this-
it was,
it
like,
seems like
unnecessary. Like,
Mhm.
if you're going to read Venonverse and you see all these characters, you're reading it for all the characters that are in it, you're not unfamiliar with the material, especially with how big Marvel
But
is.
that's a flaw, I think. It relies
It is a flaw,
really
yeah.
heavily on your knowledge, on your foreknowledge
Oh, yeah.
of the Marvel characters and your desire to see that. Okay, wow, you mean they got Venom Captain America? Oh snap! Because I know all about Captain America and I know all about Venom. So go. It's like, no, let me see some stuff on panel that's cool, and then introduce me to these characters. You know, it's kind of like okay, it's kind of like a movie sequel where it's like it really relies on introducing characters that you know by you being intimately familiar with and completely enamored with the previous picture. And the best example I can come up with is The Mummy Returns with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
It's an old movie now, but at the start of that movie, the first one was good. They introduced cool characters and stuff. And the second movie, when they introduce a new character, it's like, well, the previous characters we knew, they start off the movie. You may know them, but we give a quick introduction of them. And then something big happens, and then I can't get off camera, but I'll just kind of like, and then new character comes in, but it's that guy you remember. Remember that guy? Hey, it's that guy. They do something, and then another character comes in from the previous movie, and it's like, oh no, not you. And then and then third character. Oh man, he's here too. What's going on? And it was
It's like a sequel.
Over and over again.
I
it's
didn't
stupid.
think-
It was kinda like that.
It kind of fell flat with me, dude. Like I wasn't a big fan about it, man.
Mhm.
Like I kept comparing it to Remender's run where you had like Agent Venom going around.
Yeah,
it was like the
that
darkest thing going on, and then Marvel always returns to like normality. Of course, Eddie Brock had to be made Venom again, and it was just
Wolverine's
like,
gonna come
I
back
don't
to life
know.
at some
yeah,
point.
so
Yeah.
I know the movie's coming up, dude, but this event was like
Are
it
you-
was like a little rush.
You
It was a little
know
rush.
It's
what
felt
I'd
like-
compare this to? I'd compare
Yeah.
this to Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh my god!
It
what a
almost it's
horrible
pretty
movie.
much like that kind of plot through and through. It reminded me of that so hard.
Well,
Bad.
that's unfortunate because what actually plays out in this is the Venom symbiotes are being taken over, and the different Venoms are being brought from various realities to fight this common enemy. So I was really hoping to see the different strengths of the different Venoms. You've got Venom, Doc Ock. You've got Venom, Captain America. I mentioned Venom, Deadpool. Venom, Venom, Spider Gwen.
Yep.
They got really
So
interesting with the
explain
Venoms. They
the
introduced
Venom symbiote too. Like
yeah.
what does it add to those?
Okay,
characters?
years ago, there's several different, well,
Right.
there's like 3 or 4 different backstories. I'll give one. Spider-Man, during the Secret Wars, came in contact with an alien. This is just one backstory because there's a few different ones.
What's
Came
the
in
main
contact with an alien goo on
Yep.
a spaceship that they found abandoned on this planet that several heroes from the Marvel Universe were brought to fight a secret war. So he touched that, it covered his body, and there was a sentient voice talking to him. He didn't quite understand what it was, but this new goo gave him new powers and new abilities. Well,
Mhm.
enhanced powers and abilities akin to his own. He brought that to Earth, and through a series of events, he realized the suit was a symbiotic being, a being that coexisted with him, but was also feeding off him.
Right. So he had
so it was taking over his mind.
Spider-Man
slowly,
powers basically, but
he was also being controlled by this thing. Not completely controlled, but it was influencing. It was like a devil on the shoulder type.
Right.
Thing. So he decided this thing's making me be someone I don't want to be, and he got rid of it. When he got rid of it, Eddie Brock was his rival journalist who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the symbiote bonded to him after leaving Peter Parker, after leaving
Right.
Spider-Man. And once it took over Eddie Brock, it retained Spider-Man's powers, but also and knowledge, like things he knew about himself. Like, as in, once it took over Eddie Brock, this other guy, he instantly knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man because the symbiote now knew
And
that Peter Parker was
and
Spider-Man.
his spider sense didn't work.
Exactly, yeah, because it assumes it's the same guy.
You know,
So that's when Venom was born. Eddie Brock then became Venom, a guy who hates Peter Parker, knowing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and having enhanced powers, the enhanced powers of Spider-Man.
I don't know, man.
That's
I think
where the symbiote came from.
it was handled a little. You know what, dude? I saw the hype happen because they were releasing all these like Venom variant covers like right before the event. Dude, you know like they were really trying to pump you up for this, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I really did like the Spider-Verse going into it. I thought they were gonna put a little bit, you know, make a little bit.
I hate the concept
deeper, man.
of variant covers because they're selling you the exact same book with different art at the exact same price.
I know,
which
but
means you're
this
just paying for things over and over if you want to collect them. And it's a push for marketing purposes, but
Yeah.
also really gassing up the fans for what often turns out to be a letdown story.
Yeah.
And they gave this someone
Get
such a
together,
hard
Mark.
push, and Spider-Verse was so good, but I think they were just banking on the concept of Spider-Verse was great, Venom's cool, people are going to buy this regardless, which, I mean, a lot of them did.
Yeah.
I know folks who got these issues before the trade came out, and I think it was a letdown. I'm saddened to say that this story, it delivered a capable story, you know, but I got to give it a thumbs down because a capable story was, one, not enough for this, and two, not something I'd accept from a book that I paid for in the first place.
Well, a capable story is what you should expect. That should be
No,
a given.
you should expect
Yeah.
you should expect a good story, hope for a great story, and a capable story is one of those ones where you think, well, I read an issue and it didn't do much, but at least I kind of got entertained for a bit. And this one banked on people are going to buy several issues of the same ones. They want to collect the covers, and they're going to be talking about this for months and all this stuff. And I think maybe they just handed it to mediocre writers, which is a bummer
They wrapped
because
it up too early.
it was, you know what? I take that back. You're right. You are absolutely right. It's not that the writers were mediocre because I think there was legit effort here.
Yeah, like,
Good
it could've been
ideas.
so much better, man.
And had it been twice as long, it actually could have been really good because they would have had time to flesh out ideas. Plans could have been enacted. It wouldn't have been such quick back and forth to ultimate failure.
Right.
You know, they could have taken time on each of the characters. Dude, they had both Venom X23 and Venom Wolverine in here. And they didn't talk to each other once. I'm like,
Yeah.
let me see the father-daughter dynamic. You know, how was X23 dealing with the death of her father? How was Wolverine, Venom, dealing with the universe where his daughter probably didn't exist? They have a Sabretooth Venom. He never once meets Wolverine Venom. You know, they have...
missed opportunities.
Yeah, they have the Wolverine Venom, and they have a Silver Samurai Venom. Wolverine Venom and a Silver Samurai Venom, and they don't interact. I think they're maybe on one panel on opposite sides in the background once. You know, it's ridiculous. You could have done so many great things with this, and I think it might be because it was edited down to nothing, that quick 5 issues, that they decided to just like to curtail all of that for just for their quick main storyline, which bummed me the hell out because it could have been so good. This had all the promise in the world,
Yeah,
and it did not deliver.
absolutely. Everything you said, and I'd even go a little bit further, that the dialogue was written as if it was you, the reader. They sort of wrote the dialogue as if their intended reader was like 10 years old, because
Well,
everything
to be
felt
fair,
like they were
comics-
talking down to me every single time.
I will be
And this
fair
is-
there. We're grown ass men talking about this, but comics are generally targeted toward even the more raw ones.
I
are
get
generally
that.
targeted towards young
Well,
audiences.
this
towards
is
kids,
the raw one. I mean, there's
Well,
blood and gore throughout.
Yeah.
You know
this-
how young I was
this
when I
thing.
started reading comics with blood and gore and like people getting impaled and stuff,
Right,
man. Yeah.
right. I'm just saying
And-
they should have knew their audience a bit more and aged up their dialogue, because I felt kind of offended by it.
All right.
Yeah,
maybe
dude,
that's
this was like tugging at my nostalgia like strings, man. Like, you know, like Maximum Carnage was like one of the reasons I started reading Spider-Man, dude.
Mhm.
And like, well, that was you know like
Maximum
that was, like,
Carnage was-
Sega was awesome, dude. But like, you know, like I don't know, man. It was kind of
So you guys
This
jazzed
is-
for the movie though?
for the Venom
The
movie.
yeah.
You know what? If they do a good, this honestly kind of deflates some of my enthusiasm for it.
Wow.
Because this was something I was also excited for. I loved Spider-Verse, and you can't really talk about Venomverse without making allusions to Spider-Verse because it's the same universe, it's a similar premise, it's related characters, and conceptually it's even more badass because Spider-Verse was limited to different Spider-Men, which is cool in itself because we've gotten multiverse Spider-Man before, but they showed the abilities that they have and what's different about them, and that's cool. You know, armored Spider-Man versus Spider-Man with the arms versus the British Spider-Man, the punk Spider-Man, all types of stuff there. And then Venonverse, which the Venom symbiote isn't just limited to one or two guys. The Venom symbiote can be anybody. And conceptually, that should have been amazing.
You know, it has the
Let me see
name.
Venom Star Fox just seducing people left and right.
It has the name Venonverse on it, and I was expecting more Venom in this. And man, like other characters got way more on-page time than Venom.
And that wouldn't be a problem if they did stuff that related to them. Black Panther is like the biggest Marvel property now in anticipation of the movie. There is a Venom Black Panther in this. He does nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
If he didn't identify himself once, I wouldn't even know he was Black Panther. Yeah, he has one conversation that's played for laughs. And
It's almost worse if they
I think he
introduce
throws,
it
like,
as
one
that
punch.
and then they don't do anything.
It's a
They just
shame.
left it out.
Yeah,
you know?
that's why I'm thinking this may have been edited down, like just hacked to
Sounds like
pieces.
it. Sounds
I'm
like it.
hoping because they will probably do a sequel if this sells well, and I assume it did just on reputation alone. And they allude to a sequel that's going on a larger scale, but I'm hoping that they learn from the mistakes in Venomverse here and really step it up. But when I step it up, I mean at the very least flesh out the story, let it be longer, and let's see more of the abilities and stories of the different characters because it's all interesting. We all want more. We want to read more, and we want to get into this. And they weren't letting us this time. So I'm really hoping for the next venture that they really take care in presenting these characters and give us a story that doesn't seem so slapped together. All right, so bottom line, Herb hated it.
Read Remender's Run. It was the best Venom story in like the last 10 years, man.
It was decent. I'll give it to him.
Hey Herb, you giving a thumbs up or a down?
Oh, Venomverse, I don't know. I mean, if you're bored and you don't have to pay for it, go for it.
That's not an answer, brother.
Oh man.
No, a thumbs down. But
Okay,
if
all
you want to waste 20 minutes, skim through it.
I think this is the first ever 3 thumbs down.
3 thumbs down. Damn.
Wow.
Setting records. I wanted to like this so bad. It hurts.
There,
Oh, the pain, Adam. The pain. Oh, it cuts deep. I'm wounded. Oh, right in the taint. All right, so I'm going to kick it over to just Johnny. You, my friend, had hopefully a better experience checking out